What is going on, my beautiful people? Hope you guys are having a beautifully blessed, amazing day. Say hello to Stormy. In this video, what we're going to be talking about is being able to use the power of visualization and how amazing it is to actually, I believe, of course you can use it for as an athlete, as a performer, whatever you want to say, as a communicator, anything like that, but you can use it to live your best possible life. It's crazy, it's insane, because it has the ability to help you start to remove fears and anxiety. It's crazy how much it's really helped me, and I really want to share this with you guys if you are wondering how you can actually start to fight back against that fear and anxiety and start to get into a place of calm, confident presence in your sport or just in a normal everyday life, man. You want to just go about your day and you want to have a good day and fight for your joy instead of fighting, having that fear and anxiety kind of just beating down on you and there's nothing you can do. That's what we're going to talk about. So this is something that I've developed. I've started to develop it. I have developed it, and it's really something I've been wanting to put together. Last night I sat in the bathtub and I was doing it for a long while, just putting together everything that has worked for me into this thing for you guys. So basically, I've heard about okay, the visualization, and the visualization has worked for me. The one that basically is where you kind of visualize the best possible scenario, doing that stuff. That's the best possible, that's the thing that has worked for me in the past. But I also knew that there was something else more to it. There was something about it where I remembered doing a worst case scenario kind of visualization. I would just visualize the worst case scenario and do that. But I couldn't find out where I saw that at. And I went and dove back, and I was diving back into books. I literally sat there for all this time diving back through all my books, and I couldn't exactly find it. But there is, in this book called Inner Excellence, he talks about the fact that you can have presence in pressure. You can visualize yourself having presence in pressure. What a beautiful thing. So if you think about Michael Phelps, he does this beautifully. He says that when he would visualize himself, he would do three things, and the three things that he did are kind of what I'm putting together. So number one, you visualize the best possible race, exactly how you want it to go. Number two, how it could go. And number three, how you don't want it to go. So that's all he says about it. I didn't really know what he meant about how it could go or how it's not supposed to go. So I made my own things based on what worked for me very powerfully. So firstly, being able to visualize the best possible scenario, that's kind of the visualization where you're seeing it go how you want it to go. How are you gonna feel? How is it gonna go? Oh my gosh, it's windy out here. Just imagining that, who are you gonna be talking to? How is it gonna go? How are you gonna be performing? How are those shots gonna go in? Whatever it might be. And you're visualizing that and getting yourself into that energy so that you can see that and know that and get into that. And that one works very well, but I think it's so much more powerfully paired with number three, which is how you don't want it to go. That is, for me, what I developed is the worst case scenario. So the worst case scenario is basically saying, what is the worst possible thing that can happen here? I dove into people that have used this, and there was a world champion golfer who was world number one at one point in time. I forgot his name, but he was world number one. And he basically talked about how he would do this same thing. He said he would always get nervous on the first hole that he was gonna go shoot at the golf course. It's a big tournament, a lot of pressure, a lot of stakes. But then he started doing this worst case scenario. What he would do is just imagine himself, what's the worst thing that can happen? It's not life or death. I go and I shoot this hole and it goes up into the trees and it's lost. All right, you're gonna go over there. He says, I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna kind of figure it out. I'm gonna, like I always do, I have the skills to be able to get it out of the bunker, get it out of anywhere that it goes into. If it goes into the water, it goes into the water. And then, it's not the worst case scenario. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. So for me, the reason why it's so powerful and I've wanted to hone this in is because when I was working at IHOP, there was a time where I was kind of feeling a little bit nervous and anxious because the managers and a whole bunch of it was a very toxic environment. But one of the things that I did is this worst case scenario. So I noticed that when I would go to work, sometimes I would be standing there and I would just I've already waited my tables, I was a server, I already got them, I got them all covered, I got it in my mind exactly what I need to be doing. I'm good, I could chill for a little bit. But I would be standing there and you feel this kind of anxiety and nerves because you feel like that manager is gonna start yelling at you, because he has yelled at me when I'm standing there just chilling, relaxing, just taking a little breather. It's not even crazy, but he would yell at me from across the restaurant, or he would just tell me what the hell are you doing? Start making some coffee, do something, which, he just doesn't go about it the right way. And, there's nothing I could do about that. And there was nothing I could do about that at the time. But I realized I didn't like that anxious feeling. I wanted to be able to go there, know that I've done what I needed to do, and I could just relax, because sometimes there literally wasn't nothing to do. And so I was like, all right, how can I get into that? This is what I did, that worst case scenario visualization. This is what we can all do. Imagine that worst possible scenario of what you're fearing, because it allows you to go into the fear and say like, fear, get the hell over here. I'm going to accept you and realize that I'm still loved even if this happens. That fear is imagination telling you that these things are going to happen. It's making up scenarios in your mind. But the thing is, it'll make up scenarios like, if that happens, this is going to suck, and it creates a fear around it. But it doesn't continue to play the movie of that scene happening. If that happens, if you keep going, what's the next thing that's going to happen? Nothing. It's just going to be like, oh, your manager yells at you, you continue to do whatever he says, and you can continue to move with it. Maybe you feel a little bit angry or you feel a little bit upset, you continue to move with it. And this is a concept from Kobe Bryant, because Kobe Bryant said that with people that get nervous and firstly, you got to accept all the nerves, all the anxiety and stuff like that. He said it's completely normal. But he says that when you really sit there and think about like shooting free throws in a game-winning situation, you want to win the game. He says that when you're thinking about it and you feel that nervousness, what is it really? And he said, if you think about it, it's like the fear of embarrassment. Oh, like I've been embarrassed before. Like, that's all right. Like, what's gonna happen? Like, you're gonna fear that everybody in the crowd is gonna see you miss this, and they're gonna like start talking about you. I mean, they'll talk about you for a while, and then they'll forget about it. Is that so bad? You'll go back home to your family, you'll be all right. You're gonna fear that you let your teammates down. You've let them down before. You let them down in practice multiple times. Is that really that bad? So he says that when you get to start thinking about that nervousness, start thinking about that fear, the more that you go down the line, you start to realize that it's really nothing. And for me, this is what I did at IHOP. I would imagine, okay, what if he does say that? What if he gets pissed at me for this? What if he starts to get very upset at me because I did that, and he decides that he's going to outsize me, he's gonna outcast me, he's gonna fire me right there on the spot. It's gonna suck. I'm gonna feel a little bit angry, a little bit upset, a little bit hurt, a little bit disappointed. And then I would go outside and go to my car and start talking to God. What a beautiful thing. I can start talking to God. We're always gonna have God. We're always gonna have that thing. And if you realize, and maybe for you, it's you go back home and you're gonna have your family. You're still gonna be okay. You're gonna figure it out. Be confident in yourself that you can figure anything out. And if you know that at the end of the day, anything that happens, you're gonna figure it out. You're gonna be all right. God is going to be with you. This is what I did for that. And this is also what I did. Sometimes we can get anxious about, like, I don't know, social situations. It's like you want it to go right, you want it to go amazing, and that's the fear of validation. We want people to like us. It's as simple as it is. We want people to like us. But if you can go into it of, let me visualize if nobody likes me, if nothing actually goes right and they actually outsize me and they don't want to talk to me, nobody wants to connect with me, this has also helped me with that. At IHOP, when I go to my Bible studies, when I do anything like that in these social events where I've in the past had a lot of fear and anxiety towards them, where I don't want to put myself in those situations. But when you visualize the worst case scenario and you realize that God is still with you, all of a sudden your subconscious is like, oh, okay, I can relax. And what the golfer said is that in order to play his best golf, he has to swing freely. He has to have the freedom and just like be loose. If you're fearing what's happening, which was happening with his first hole that he was going to, you get tight. And that's what happens with us. Whether you're in a social event, whether you're an athlete, whether you just want to live the best day, you get tight if you're in that fear and anxiety of what might happen, how this is going to work out. But if you live in a place of freedom, in a place of knowing that you're going to be okay with God no matter what happens to you, you can let go and just start allowing it to happen to you as best as it possibly can. Just allowing it to come and playing from that place of looseness and play and flow. So you go into a social event, you're like, I know that I can walk out of here if they kick me out. Your mind literally, it's like your mind is actually, it cannot, what they say is that it cannot distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is actually there. So your mind literally knows, oh, okay, I would be okay if that happens. So you're going into that with that on the back burner, and your mind's like, let me just go in here and have fun. Let me just go try some stuff. Let me make myself look stupid. But that actually ends up making you your best in there, because you're tapping into the linear thinking is what they call it, which where you can just like, you're in that best state, you're not insecure, you're feeling that, and all of a sudden everything that you're saying is amazing, it's coming out beautifully. As an athlete, you go out there and you're performing, you're just in the flow state. That's what it is, the flow state. It allows you to get into the flow state. You're just going out there, having fun, letting it go. What a beautiful thing. If you want to live your best possible life, the more that you're able to get out of that fear and anxiety of all this stuff that you're constantly holding over yourself, You get into almost a flow state for life. You get into the state of God's presence for your life because you realize, oh, let me just live my life from that place of freedom, from that place of fun, and enjoy it. And I think it's a beautiful thing, and it is going to free you up. So that is the third one, being able to visualize the worst case scenario. And the second one is visualizing the what could be. So the first is to visualize, well, actually I do them reverse, but so the first one is actually number 3. I would do that one first, which is visualizing the worst case scenario. Number 2 is going to be visualizing what could happen, which basically means visualize yourself in that situation with things that might go wrong. So Michael Phelps would do this by imagining if his goggles filled up with water, imagining if just something went wrong during the race, something went wrong beforehand, whatever it might be during his routines, maybe he didn't get enough sleep, anything like that. Visualizing all that stuff and visualizing yourself having presence with it. That's what it talks about in the book Inner Excellence. Having that presence with it is going to allow you to say, even if anything goes wrong, even if with this stuff goes wrong, I have built the mental muscle to know I can stay present with it. Now, it doesn't have to be that exact thing that happens that goes wrong for you to have that presence, but your mind gets used to just having presence despite obstacles at a general baseline principle. What a beautiful thing. So, Michael Phelps would do that, and his goggles ended up actually getting filled with water in one of his races, but he was able to he broke a world record when he did that because he had already seen that so many times in his mind. He just visualized himself focusing on the strokes, focusing on keeping the same pace. What a beautiful thing. And that too also prepares you for your best because you're not fearing if that stuff happens. And if it does, you're already ready for it. What a beautiful, beautiful thing. So number 1 is going to be visualizing the best possible scenario, or I guess visualizing what you want to happen, how you want it to happen. If it was perfect, everything went all right, everything went amazing, how would it happen? Also, for the second one, let me say, you can visualize that too. You can visualize it for both 3 and 2. I want to say that a big distinguisher here is that you want to visualize, of course, if it goes terribly, and for number 2, having presence in there, but also you don't want to, you can also visualize yourself for number 3 having nerves and anxiety and it just going terribly, absolutely terribly, and then walking out and still being okay. Like, of course we want to imagine for number 2 having the presence and keeping ourselves good even with the adversity, but number 3, you can imagine yourself being crushed by the adversity, having those nerves and anxiety crush you and still being okay. And then number 2 is just what the could be. So I want you also to imagine just some scenarios of it maybe not going the best and you being okay. Maybe you do get a little bit anxious. This is different than the worst case scenario, because worst case scenario is like the absolute worst case scenario. But for what it could be, let's say you're going into a social event and it kind of just goes good. It's not anything great. It's not the best. It's not like, oh my gosh, this was so amazing. It's not the worst. It's not like you freaking tripped and fell in front of everybody and everything like that. But it's kind of just like, okay. And if you walk out of there and you're like, all right, like that's all right, I'm learning. What a beautiful thing that Kobe Bryant has said. He said that he doesn't practice, or he doesn't love winning or hate losing. He's right in the middle, dead center. He said that he plays to learn. That's what we're doing, learning that we're playing to learn. If you can accept that you can walk out of somewhere, play to learn, and keep growing, that gives you presence because you're not focused so much on the outcome of like, I need this to happen, I need people to like me, I need to have a good performance when I go out there, I need to have an amazing day, everything going to be perfect. So if you can imagine yourself going into that situation, it just kind of goes good, and still walking out of there and being going back and connecting with God and just rejoicing or just having a good day and reminding yourself that you're just learning and being able to do that. That is so powerful for your mind. This is something that I literally did. I like to practice this stuff. It's funnily enough, it might not seem like it's like actually gonna work, but I like to practice this stuff because it's a great way of me actually seeing what works for me to get me into that presence and to get me into the flow state. But yeah, just what's best for me. Playing video games, I play Call of Duty at a very, very freaking high level. I'm about to be top 1% of the world. Yeah, just about to be there. So I'm pushing up to this top 1% in the world, and it's like I need to have such a great energy, but also just a great ability to learn and grow and keep myself in that growth mindset to get to this next level, to push that limit. And what I've realized is that when you do this stuff, if I can visualize myself having kind of just like a, yeah, kind of just having a good game and just being like, okay, I have a good game, that's all right, I didn't do too much, but I'm still learning. Okay, first, I just want to say, for that learning that Kobe Bryant said, I know we kind of going everywhere here, but for the learning that Kobe Bryant said, he said that he just tries to learn. That's what I try to do when I'm going into, you know, a game of Call of Duty or making one of these videos. That is a mantra that you can say to yourself. If you're visualizing yourself and it's kind of going just good throughout that experience, if you visualize yourself leaving at the end of the night, going into your car, getting home or whatever, and just saying, I play to learn, like I play to learn, and then say your best follows. If you know that that is the principle, in the book Inner Excellence, he talks about it constantly. Y'all can read that for yourself. He says that your best follows from just learning and focusing on mastery. When you're focused on mastery, it keeps you in the flow state. You have pretty much trying to take full accountability, learning what you can learn, continuing to grow as a person, knowing that you accept everything as it is because it's all happening for you and not to you. So you're just learning. And at the end of your night, if you can visualize having a good night and then going and just saying, I'm playing to learn, my best is gonna follow. I like to say, I'm playing to learn, God first, best follows. Or I like to say, you know, for me, it's the joy of the Lord is my strength. I play to learn, best follows. And you can cut that even shorter if you want to. But what that basically is saying, for the joy of the Lord is the thing that's going to get you in the energy where you can learn, where you can grow, take accountability, learn as fast as you can, still have a good attitude, come back from setbacks. Learning is the thing of knowing I'm continuing to grow every time you put yourself out there. Every time I play a game of Call of Duty, every time I make a video, every time I get myself in a social situation, every time we go out there as an athlete, you're learning from this. You have more data from how you played, and then your best follows from being in that good state, learning. That's where your best comes from. Once you realize that that is the most powerful thing that you can ever freaking start to do. So for number one, it's just the visualizing the best. Like you visualize how you want it to go, if everything went perfectly, and most importantly, how you want to feel in there. What's that energy state that you want to be in? Is it a place of just being removed to the mistakes, being able to make mistakes, not being so hinged on the outcome, being able to just have fun, being in that good cheer, joy, energy, and being able to say, I'm just gonna go out there. For me, when I visualize myself playing Call of Duty, the best thing that I can have there is just going into it and literally, like, of course, having an amazing game. That's the best that can happen. But just going into it and literally trying new things, literally pushing the limits. I love doing that. Just doing stupid stuff because it's the best way to learn. Playing from a place of not fearing, like, oh, if I make this mistake, my teammates are gonna do whatever. They're gonna say whatever to me. They're gonna get pissed, anything like that. I don't want to play from that place. But the best place I could play from is that fearless love. That's what he talks about in that book. He says fearlessness is that love, and it allows you to just go out there and just try stuff. Like, you're not embarrassable. You can, like, nobody can embarrass you because you know we're doing it from a self-sacrificing place. That's where I learned the best in Call of Duty. That's where I push the best. And it all goes hand in hand with this because, of course, I visualize the best. What's the best thing that I can have? Like an amazing game. I have amazing energy. I'm continuing to stay in the joy. I'm not getting pissed when I'm getting killed. I'm just learning from every death, all that stuff. But it all works together because I did this last night, and the thing that I was visualizing for myself with the number 3 or number 1, whatever you want to say, of visualizing worst case scenario, it's like I would visualize myself trying to learn and grow and do that stuff with Call of Duty going into there. But what I would do is visualize myself like if it went absolutely terrible, if I was getting smoked, if I was getting pooped on, maybe I was getting a little bit angry, or like it was just like real bad, you know what I'm saying? And of course I'm visualizing myself trying to have presence in there, but the worst case scenario would just be everything goes terrible, I'm getting smoked, my teammates are flaming me. And if it's the worst case scenario, if it really did get that bad, of course I could just turn off the game. Who cares? I'm not gonna take it personal. And what I love to do is imagine myself at the end of my night working it through with God. So I can visualize this stuff. Like if it goes worst case scenario, what you can do is realize that at the end of your night, if you have the tools to work it through, which is this. Oh man, this is so good, man. If you guys really want to talk about this, let's talk about this because this is like literally amazing. But one of the things that you could do from the book, it's a tool from Inner Excellence. It's rewiring something that went wrong in your day that you wish you could have done differently. And it's basically just making one small change and changing the energy that you wish you would have had. And it allows your subconscious to let it go, but also the next time you get into it, your subconscious is gonna handle it a lot better. And the more that I can realize, even if it's the worst case scenario, because like if I play a game Call of Duty, it goes terrible, I play terrible. Sometimes it's like, oh man, all that stuff that I've been trying to practice with being able to be in a good state and all that and learning, is it not working, anything like that? But I know if at the end of my night I can talk with God about it and I can start to shift it and just visualize, okay, what's a better way I could have done that? Why did I get so upset? What's a different mantra that I can try to put into there to try a little bit differently next time? Visualize that. I know that's where it gets better and better. The more that we can do that, the more that we can remove ourselves of that fear of the worst possible scenario. So the worst possible scenario, but then also what could happen, which is I could start getting smoked really bad, but maintaining the presence inside of my internal, saying the joy of the Lord is my strength. I play to learn. For me, I've been saying joy, learn, best follows. That's all I have to say during the game. It allows me to say it's quick, it's clean. So joy, learn, best follows. And what that basically is just saying is that if I'm in that joy, I'm learning, the best is gonna follow from there. And if I'm saying that, but I still am getting smoked, what I know is gonna happen is I'm getting smoked very damn bad in the game, and I'm still maintaining that energy and joy, but all of a sudden the teammates are gonna get on the group game chat, they're gonna start talking, they're gonna say, Jake, you're the worst person ever, you suck, you're absolute awful, freaking, oh my gosh, my cat just scared the hell out of me. But even a guy today, he was telling me to uninstall the game, never play the game again. I ended up actually playing really damn good at the end of that game, or towards the end of the game, I turned it around, because I was in that joy and energy. That's the crazy part. Because you're visualizing yourself, if that happens, I want to maintain the joy and energy, knowing that the learning is where my best is going to follow. And I'm pushing for this top 1% already. No matter what, people are always going to talk smack. I don't know why. Like, we're playing literally almost at the top 1%. We're all really damn good, but you want to get up here and you want to start talking. I don't know. But realizing that allows you to take yourself out of it, because it's hard to do it in the moment when your emotional reactions are there, it's coming out, it's a little bit just tough. But when you're visualizing it, you can be like, wait, I'm just like, joy is the best response here. I'm just freaking learning. I already know that the best is gonna follow that. So I don't gotta be freaking like emotionally reacted to this dude, you know what I'm saying? So I visualized that the night before, knowing that there's gonna be people that are gonna say that, but I was just gonna be happy in the fact that I'm learning, knowing that I'm gonna keep trying out as many stupid things as I can, man. Oh, I freaking love it, bro. I love it so much. There was a guy that used to play CSGO named Stewie2K. He would do a whole bunch of stupid stuff, but he was very different. He ended up getting so good at the game that he was just so different, and I love that aspect of it, the uniqueness that you can get to if you allow yourself to not fear mistakes. So that is what you're putting, it's like 2 lollipops that you have when you're going into any event as an athlete or as a creative or as anybody, communicator. What you can have is either in that situation when they're going at me and saying all that stuff, I can get emotionally reactive, upset, angry, and that's a big lollipop that's protecting my ego, and I can start to say and defend myself like, no man, like I'm actually doing this. That's my ego flaring up. That's my pride flaring up. That's a small little lollipop. What you can do is give yourself a bigger lollipop, which is knowing that, for one, the joy of the Lord is your strength. Like, that's where everything comes from. That's it right there, that the joy of the Lord is your strength. Learning, if you focus on learning and just staying in the joy of the Lord and in the presence of God, your best is gonna follow. That's a bigger lollipop that you can start to hold on to throughout your days anytime you go in there. So I'm gonna give this to you guys. I want you guys to take this lollipop and to start to go in there and start to lick it. Pause, just start to lick it, knowing that that lollipop is gonna get you where you need to go, and it's such a better lollipop to be in overall. It's gonna give you your best experience doing that thing that you're doing. I had my best freaking time playing Call of Duty, and it's also just gonna get you the best results at the end of the day. If you want to, it's gonna not just the best results, but it's gonna push you to be the best that you possibly can be. So that's what we're focused on. So number 1, what you're gonna do is visualize worst case scenario. Number 2, what it could be. Number 3, what you want it to be. What's the best possible scenario, pretty much. So these 3 things, you can visualize them, and it's just gonna get that fear out of you, because I was literally playing the game and I started doing, I'm playing not so good. I'm still trying out these new things, but I'm being in that joy, and I already know somebody was coming up on there, they about to say something, and they come up on there, you start hearing the voice talk, and it's like instantly my mind's like not even fearing it. It's like I already expected this, bro. I already expected this. Come on, man. Like, it's almost fun. And I would do this too. I've done this at IHOP. I've done this at you know, with my Bible studies. I haven't done it fully with the Bible studies yet, but you know, visualizing if nobody wants to talk to you, nobody wants to connect with you, but also bringing in the story of Paul, realizing that nobody really wanted to connect with him, the disciples didn't, but he was still leaning on the grace of God. That's just a different belief that you can switch into. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just different beliefs in terms of knowing that you're loved. That's what we're trying to do. Replace the fear with love. How can you replace, what's your biggest fear that you think that is going to happen as an athlete, as in your day, or as a communicator? And how can you replace it with the love of God to allow yourself to just play from the freedom? So if you guys have any questions about this, man, let me know down in the comments below. I had an amazing time with you guys today, and I hope you guys are doing beautifully. I hope you guys are doing amazing. I'll talk to you on the next video. Peace.